Inside the gyms, we have been cleaning and sanitizing and making sure that all equipment and stations can be set up at least 6 feet apart. Everyone will be required to wear a mask while they are inside Gigueres. When athletes are spread out and practicing safe physical distancing, they will be allowed to take off their mask. We have added a 30-minute cleaning time in between each group. The number of athletes per practice time does not exceed 22. We are allowed 25 in the big gym. The number was based off the athletes allowed per square foot, 250 square foot for every one person. This number will allow for a lot more freedom to spread out in the gym. There will most likely be 5 to 7 athletes on each event at a time. At times, and for a lot of the lower level athletes, even less. Athletes will go to a specific event to perform their warm-up. This will ensure that they are as spread out as possible. When athletes go to vault, they will be spread out onto individual stations. They will stay on that station for a prolonged period of time, and then the mats that they use will be sanitized before the next athlete's turn. When athletes are on bars, they will spread out to an individual mat. At their mat, they will use their own container of chalk. Each child needs to bring in their own container, and we will provide the chalk. Each athlete will stay on an individual bar as long as possible. The bar will be wiped down if athletes switch bars. On balance beam, each balance beam is placed 6 feet apart. Each athlete will have their own designated balance beam for their workout. They will stay on that balance beam for as long as possible. When switching of beams is necessary and in between groups, the balance beams will be sanitized. On floor, athletes will be spread out either on different stations or spread out on each line, working on basics across the floor. Our lines are spread out 6 feet apart. Our stations are set up on vinyl mats so that they are easily cleaned. Each station used will be sanitized before the switching of athletes. Dance team will have a section in front of the mirrors completely cleared. 6-foot markers will be placed out so they know exactly where to stand. Classes will utilize stations throughout the gym. They will stay on a certain station for as long as possible, and when they switch, their equipment will be sanitized. Numbers will never exceed 15 in this gym. Physical distancing of 6 feet or more will be used throughout the entire practice. Athletes are asked to have their own backpack to keep all their personal belongings in the entire time they are at the gym. They will be taking their street shoes off before entering the gym and placing them in their bags. We have added a plexiglass barrier to our office to protect our office staff. We also ask that you utilize our website and call whenever possible. We have added automatic hand soap dispensers in each bathroom. We have turned our bubblers into hand sanitation stations, and we have added hands-free hand sanitizers throughout the building. As we welcome you back to Gigueres, there are a few changes to our drop-off, our pickup, and even our flow of traffic in the gym to make sure everyone is safe. We are asking our team athletes to arrive no later than 5 minutes before practice time. If you arrive late, we ask that you park across the street and wait until the parking lot is safe to enter. You can find a parking space in the red zone marked in the parking lot. Dropping off at the door and leaving is not allowed. We ask that you remain in your car until an employee waves you in. If you are dropping off a Gigueres recreation student or a dance team member, we ask you arrive no later than 5 minutes before class time. If you arrive late, we ask that you park across the street and wait until the parking lot is safe to enter. We ask you find a parking space in the blue zone. Dropping off at the door and leaving is not allowed. When an employee appears at the door, we encourage athletes to walk alone to the door and stand at a marker that is placed 6 feet apart from another. Everyone must wear a mask when leaving their cars. For younger athletes, one parent is allowed to accompany them when necessary and when safe to do so. Each person will be temperature checked before entering the building. Parents must remain in their parking spot until they have seen their athlete enter the building. At that time, it is okay to leave. If your child has a temperature of 100.4 or more, they will be asked to wait in our holding tent. We then ask you to walk to the tent to be with your child while they are waiting to be retested. No one with a temperature of 100.4 or higher will be allowed to stay. All athletes will sanitize their hands before entering the building. The athletes will walk straight into the lobby and stay to the right. They will follow the 6-foot markers around the dressing room. When they come to a stop, they will take their shoes off on one of the markers. They will place that in their bag and return their bag to their back. There'll be a staff member at the door to guide them to where they should go. The athlete will walk to the floor where a staff member will direct them to a specific event. At that time, the coach will spread them out. When they are appropriately distanced, they will be informed they can remove their masks. When it is time for pickup, the athletes will gather all their belongings in their bag. They will put their mask back on. They will wait for their coach to instruct them to head towards the exit area by the trench bar and rings. Each group will take turns walking over. They will wait on the 6-foot markers by the door and put their shoes on. They will wait for the coach at the door to tell them it is okay to exit. The athletes need to exit slowly and carefully. They will look for their parents' car and slowly walk into it, looking both ways. If you cannot arrive 5 minutes prior to your athlete's practice, we ask that you park across the street. This is to keep all athletes safe while they are exiting this door. It is important to know when your team athlete finishes their practice with dance. On those days, they will exit the side door parking lot by Discovery. For that pickup, we ask that you park in the blue zone. All recreation students and dance team members will hand sanitize and walk into the lobby. They will stay to the left. Students will follow the 6-foot markers to the left of the office. When they are stopped on a marker, they will take off their street shoes and place them in their bag. A staff member will be at the small gym side door to escort the athletes in. Students will follow the 6-foot markers into the gym until a teacher informs them which event or space to go to. When athletes are spread out safely, they will be informed to take their masks off. When the recreation and dance team members are ready for pickup, they will gather all their belongings in their bags. They will put their masks on. They will wait for their teacher to tell them to line up against the wall on the 6-foot markers and put on their shoes. They will wait on their spot until the teacher says it is okay to exit. They will exit slowly and carefully. They will look for their parents' car and slowly walk to it, looking both ways, guided by a teacher. For the safety of all athletes in the parking lot, it is imperative that you arrive 5 minutes before each dismissal time. Parents will enter and proceed to the blue zone. They will pull into a spot and stay in their car. At the end of the class, the students will be let out the door by a staff member who will supervise them getting to their cars. If cars are pulling in as athletes are shuttled out, this could be very dangerous. If you are late, you need to park across the street until it is safe to enter the main parking lot. If you're going to be late, you need to call the office. Please wait until all athletes are in cars before pulling away. All parents will need to have their temperature checked before entering the building. Everyone will need to have a mask, and everyone will need to sanitize their hands before entering. They will stay to the left and go straight up the stairs. This is now a one-way stairway. When you get to the top of the stairs, team parents will stay to the right and will socially distance while watching their athletes. We ask that this is at a minimum to keep everyone safe. When exiting, you will use this back outside door and meet your athlete around front. Recreation and dance team parents will stay to the left at the top of the stairs. They will stay spaced out 6 feet apart and will also exit out the back door.